Namaste, Professor Vaidyanathan ji. We are glad to have you back with us. You're one of our favorite and most popular guests. You need no introduction, but for our new audience, I'll just give a brief introduction. Professor R. Vaidyanathan is a retired professor of finance at IIM Bangalore. He was named one of the 10 best professors at all IIMs. He is a well-known author, and some of his popular books are Black Money and Tax Havens, Cast as Social Capital, which have all been well received and referred to by policy experts. He is currently a member of National Security Advisory Board under National Security Council, an adjunct professor of Oro University, Surat, and Choas Ramaswamy Chair Professor in Public Policy at Shastra University. Today, let's discuss the American gun issue. America's gun violence is very well known, and they're again in the news for some two gruesome incidents. One involving the killing of 19 innocent children and 2 teachers, and another one that's just happened, a shooting spree at hospital premises. And there are hundreds of such shootings that happened in 2021. The problem only seems to be getting bigger, and there's no solution in sight. Professor, why do you think America has such a problem with uncontrolled gun violence?
In one sentence, large number of dysfunctional families.
Okay.
As you increase the number of dysfunctional families, these problems become much more acute. You know, there are a lot of bushfires you are mentioning. If you look at many of the places, it is by people who are what is called the single parent family background. Single parent family is actually single mother. It's not single father or anything. Today, roughly 52% of the child birth in US is out of wedlock. This is something very, very important to note, which used to be some hardly, 10, 15% in the 1950s. Today, 52%. And among blacks and Latinos, this is very high, 70 to 75%. So from a joint family, you become nuclear family to proton family, single parent family. I don't know where it will further. Lot of psychologists have told, whether one likes it or not, at a very young age, all over the world, Europe, US, India, China, father is used as a controlling variable in the family.
Okay.
Basically, what it is, like a mom will say, don't do this. I'll tell Appa when he comes home. Don't do that. Don't. The do's and don'ts are slowly pushed into his head using father as a variable. At that young age, as he grows up, he understands who really controls the family. That's a different issue I'm talking about. So, in 2010, in UK, London, Liverpool, Manchester, many places. I was there that time in Manchester. The kids in the age group of, say, something like 8 to 15, they were rioting on the roads, streets. They were looting departmental stores, shops, and rampage they were going for 2 days. And cops were not sure, obviously they are too young to be shot dead or anything. Everywhere they were trying to, handcuff them, and it was chaos actually. Nobody, it started in some place, and I was in Manchester. Every shop was looted. There's an electronic shop, and one shop was not touched by anybody. I was also puzzled. It was a bookshop. And, because I don't think any kid is interested in anymore in books. Anyhow, the point is they appointed a committee with the Archbishop of London also as a member. He is I think you may be knowing in UK system actually, the Archbishop of the thing is actually the head of the state. Right. He derives the powers, and he is supposed to be advising the Queen, and of course most of it is in theory in contemporary situation, but still he holds a very important position. The committee, they are like actually we have learned from them only. Whenever there is a crisis, form a committee, and the committee discussed, and then finally they produced a report around 2011 or so. It's in the internet also. It's a slim report, 32 pages. The first sentence of the report is the sovereignty of the family is dead in UK.
Okay.
It's extremely critical observation. Then later on, the Archbishop in one place says there are more number of households with the television than with husbands. He says that factual statistics he is able to produce. In other words, what he says is we have become a dysfunctional society.
Right.
It's a very, very important thing. The context is in terms of bringing up the children with some values, with these are something which ought not to be done. These are something which ought to be done. These are, it's not something which you get to learn from your television serials or anything like that. This comes in the family only. They also observe how the behavior is there, and all these things. And the grandpa, grandma in the olden days, contemporary world, at least father and mother, various, and there are some relatives and other things. What is happening is these dysfunctional family kids are they sometimes, many places in US also, the bushfires come from these places. They get into issues of, for instance, this illegal activities, gangs, and then drugs, then the firearms, all these things, and they think they are heroes if they are part of a gang. Gang warfare and other thing come. And using guns in US is much easier, much more Second Amendment and all that. They say that back the check should be done and all that crap. I was in US, and I remember visiting one exhibition of these arms guns. One of my colleagues told, "Come, let's." So I've never seen guns except in movies, like. Actually, firearms load. And so I was looking at, and some jokingly I told, I think I should pick up one at least, like that. The fellow was selling, he told, yeah, you take it. I told, no, I am from India. I don't have any license. You know what he told me? Don't worry, professor, we will manage.
Oh my God. Okay.
Exactly, this is the wording. I always remember this actually. We will manage. That means what? All your laws and regulations are gone for a toss.
Absolutely.
I am a temporary visitor there. I was not even a regular person who is staying there. But he told, we'll manage you. I'll arrange to get it. Provided you, of course, pay the money and all those things. So this gun culture combined with dysfunctional families. See, throughout the 40s and 50s, if you look at it, family was a major institution along with the church in Europe as well as in US. Very important. And the church is something like our caste, if you ask me bluntly. Presbyterian and Episcopalian and all these people, they all are single. I went to the same church as XYZ, and then I went to the same school. I went to the similar college, and then they even get into business together. It's a very, very interesting thing. Okay. It's as nepotistic as anybody else, but they would pretend as if only India is having all these links and other things. Nothing obnoxious actually. Anyhow, right. So the destruction of the family has started somewhere in the 80s and 90s. And it is to make it smaller and smaller. If you see the advertisement in the 70s and 80s, all advertisements were only for happy family. Happy family means husband, wife, and 2 children. One boy, one girl, maybe a dog. That's allowed. That's a happy family will never have mother-in-law, sister-in-law. All these people are not included in the happy family. This is indoctrinated. And post-marriage, you are expected to move out of your parents' home and then on your own. Again, millions of apartments and independent houses were created between 2060, sorry, 1960 and 2010 because of this moving out from the parents' place. Till then, people used to stay, joint family used to be very common and other thing. And slowly this became slightly more in terms of living together idea
Right.
without marriage. And post living together, it is just, only one parent. And mostly it is women, the mother which has two, three children.
Right.
And what is the issue is, see, there are guilds in Europe, guild equivalent to some technical, our industrial training institute in India, we call them ITI,
Right.
not IIT, ITI. ITI is, basically training you after plus two in some making you a carpenter or a fitter, plumber, painter, all the different type of what one can call skills are important. Europe and US in the 70s, there was huge demand for these compared to the supply. Incidentally, there all the kids don't go to colleges, unlike India. There roughly 10 to 11% only go after school into colleges. The
Right.
remaining all go for this type of work only. Sometimes they may re-enter college after doing 5 years of work or 4 years of work. Anyhow. And some of them could be even, delivery boys. Some of them work as, different type of avocation. But over a period of time, very interesting, somewhere in 2010-15 statistics, there is not much demand for these guilds at all. What is happening is the family and extended family pressure is getting lost. Okay, let me put it clearly. After plus two, most of the career choices of individuals are due to family and extended family pressure.
Right.
People ask, have you written JEE? You have not sat for this thing, CAT. You have not sat for, the medical, like that, they go on, whether the boy likes it or not, he sits for these exams and get into something. I used to interview for my MBA thing, quite a large number of students. Many of them were telling that we were not interested in engineering, but we joined because everybody else joined. Sir, like that, So, point is that pressure from family, extended family, and other thing is slowly gone. So nobody to, and a single mom is not in a position to compel or advise or anything like that. So these kids go to the pub and these kids get into gangs and they unfortunately somebody told unemployment rate is some 12%, sorry 16% or something in Portugal and Spain and other. And that professor told me it is not just unemployment, it is unemployable. Most of them cannot be fit into any job. So this type of a situation is what one can call a breeding ground for this gun culture. And another thing is when there is economic crisis at your family level or at you tend to blame the migrants. This is something very interesting. All over the world, this is the standard thing. Whenever there is a crisis, you think migrants are responsible for it. In Bombay, they will say Biharis should be beaten up. In Tamil Nadu, they will say Northerners should be beaten up. All this type of rubbish will be there. Same thing is happening there. You see, many a time, these youngsters, white youngsters, they actually have a tendency to attack. Nowadays, even some places in, for instance, in Georgia, the Asian women and men were attacked. They were, considered as one of the, what one can call unwanted inside. And there, many of them are doing well. That is another issue. Many of them are, earning well, and the highest earning group is in US is actually Indian Americans. So that create its own, what you may call envy and right. So this Second Amendment, whether they can completely remove it, big question mark, because this fellows, this what you call your the what you call the rifle association groups. They are very, very powerful there. They are
Oh,
actually national rifle. No, many of these anyway, most of the senators get funded from them. So that is another thing, and they address them also. They are arguing the arms don't kill people, only human being kill people. This is the stupidest type of argument. If you don't have arms, how can anyhow? So they are very powerful, and I don't think either Democrat or Republican. It is not the question of split. It's a question of, and there is a the what I would rather call again the masculine type of thing. Having gun is considered to be,
yeah,
you are more a man if you know how to handle a gun. This is something
right,
very, very thing. And nowadays some women are also imitating it to prove that they are like men. And much
correct,
of your Bollywood movies and television serial and other thing is reinforcing these type of beliefs only. This
right,
is something which is so very sad actually. And in our own country, we are trying to imitate some of these things.
right,
This is, as I told you, I think, did I tell you that we are genetically linked to Americans? We
right,
are sort of, our umbilical cords are not cut from them, actually. We think they are
right,
the ones who, and
yeah,
for bureaucrats, judges, political leaders, I am sure at least 70 to 80% of them have children educating in US and having green cards
yes,
there or something. And these people also want to go and settle down there. That is their ultimate ambition. You ask any senior bureaucrat going to retire soon, he will say, I have to go and settle down there. This is how long it will continue, one doesn't know, because there is a significant economic crisis also in those countries.
correct,
So, point is, we want to imitate them.
right,
And the three things are there. One is we want the recognition. Unless they say that, for instance, I am giving a talk on Indian economy in Delhi, let's say, and just on room, one white man is also talking. The full crowd will be with the white only, not with me. Who is interested in me telling? He will also be talking Indian economy. Later on, somebody will say, sir, the white man was a plumber. He is not an economist. And people will say, it doesn't matter. He is white, so he has to be. So white
right,
is right. That is our attitude. The second
absolutely,
right is the coconut, not the full white, outside brown, inside white. That what the Chinese call banana, outside yellow, inside white. So for us, the hierarchy wise, pure white, coconut, and third will be the our locals. So that is the type of we are,
right,
it will take a long, long time for us to, because we seek recognition only when it is recognized by the West.
yes, true,
But let's wait and see.
yeah,
My only concern is this gun culture
right,
will completely erode the US society,
okay,
as well as it will have significant impact on US economy also.
okay,
Very important,
right,
right? It's not, and there it's a mass killing. It's not even a
yeah,
one person or something.
right,
Second is it's random, which
yeah,
is very, very frightening.
yeah,
It's not like X group and Y group are fighting with each other. No,
yeah,
you never know what will come and hit you.
yeah,
You know,
true,
and all of them are innocent bystanders in a supermarket or in a mall or in a school. They are nowhere involved or nothing like that.
true,
So this random killing creates its own uncertainties. B, it will have an impact on the economy sooner or later.
true. And that Texas school shooter was only 18 years old. And I
Yeah.
think you covered this, Professor. You said the primary purpose of a gun is to kill. And why are instruments of death normalized as commodities in the US? Is it a capitalist problem, or like you said, is it the Rifles Association that is
No, no,
compulsory?
I don't think it is capitalist problem per se. It is much more to do with according to me, any society where the family is in decline is having severe problems. That
Okay.
is what is happening in both Europe as well as and also along with that, the decline of the church. The
Okay.
earlier church used to provide some amount of cushion, whether one likes it or not. they used to, tell you do's and don'ts,
Okay.
by invoking perhaps some fear of Saturn and various other, but still, but the church attendance is very, is negligible nowadays.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Europe has become agnostic. You know,
True.
earlier they used to visit church daily, then it became Sunday, even Sunday. I visited a church in UK, huge church, which can accommodate easily 1,000 people minimum. On a Sunday morning, there were 7 people sitting in the first row. That's all. I was the eighth. And of course, the priest was a bishop that particular day. He was, fire and brimstone and other. At the end of the talk, he came to me and asked, "You are from India?" Yes, I told, "I am from India." He told, "You are all in darkness." I told, "Yes, massive power cut. We have power cuts like anything, and our situation hopefully will improve." Like this, we were talking. He didn't understand. I was talking about actual power, darkness. He was talking about, and he told, "There is, you are all in dire strait. Something should be done to." He genuinely feels it is his dharma to convert us. It's not, yeah, he's very serious about it actually.
True.
Point I want to stress is the decline of the family, decline of the church, both of that has phenomenally eroded the do's and don'ts of the society. And
Uh,
in India, actually, society is organized.
True.
Government is disorganized. In a Western context, government is organized, but unfortunately, society is very disorganized.
True.
Not and Just now I was watching a video. An elderly woman is living alone in a small town. The she goes, drops in the, they have a box in front of the house. And next day also, she finds the yesterday's has not been picked up.
Okay.
And after 2, 3 days, she really gets concerned. What is happening? She asked the neighbor. He says, "I don't know anything about that."
Oh.
Sorry, like that he says. She asked some other person. He says, "No, we don't have any contact with her." This is not in big cities where people live in apartment. Apartment living is called living apart from each other. That's what is called small town. And finally, the post woman, this actually happened. So, goes around the house and finally, bathroom window she opens and finds the old woman is sitting inside. Unfortunately, it has got locked.
Okay.
And then the post woman arranges to, break the lock. And the thing is, this is how we have become actually.
So, Prof,
Completely, we are not having the affinity of the groups.
totally.
All, including in India, for instance, people ridicule caste, but I have written a book called Caste as Social Capital. It has got huge amount of, positivity.
True.
Point is, this is, so in the olden days, going to church, for instance, was considered as a very important activity. And not only that, many may not know, out of 43 or 44, I don't know the exact number now, of the presidents, roughly two-thirds would have come from Presbyterians and Episcopalians only, not from other groups. Very recently only Baptists are started becoming the,
Okay.
after the Bush era thing. The point is, this is the cohesiveness which they have developed. Presbyterian will help other Presbyterians. If you are a Presbyterian banker, you will help the client who is a borrower. All these
Right.
things are there because they all went to the same church, they all studied same. But that is also. So seminary, for instance, people used to be in lakhs attending or joining in the 50s. Today, hardly it is in hundreds.
Right.
67. And that is another thing which is a separate area which we have to discuss some other time. That is another thing which makes them desperate to convert people in countries like India.
Okay.
They have to manage all those massive buildings and, the lawns and all these things, vessels washing and other. For that, they get, people from countries like India actually. I have seen some big churches in Europe which are taken care by people from Bangladesh or India or Pakistan or something like that. In the name of Jesus, it's a free service also. There is no need for the otherwise they have to pay a huge sum of money to even
Right.
sweep the altar and sweep the floor and other thing on a daily basis. So that is gone. So going to church is no more a major activity. And going
True.
to family is getting dissipated. So where from you learn the mechanics of living with each
Right.
other. That's why you find so many broken relationship, so many type of like instant noodle, 5 minute you have a dating and then marry, and then after 10 minutes you divorce. So this is a very complex type of issue, but they are not willing to face this. This is
True.
very, very important. And they are only sticking to their, legal thing. And legal is okay. Legal will be, but that which is not necessarily practiced or that which is not necessarily
Right.
beneficial.
The
This is
fundamental,
something
yeah, the
fundamental.
fundamental issue is
Yeah.
not addressed. Okay. Professor, how do you think the other gun laws in India compared to the US?
Oh, compared to that, we have a excellent type of thing. I would say, of course, there are some people who make illegal arms and other things. I won't deny that. Particularly in the northern belt, some places,
Mm.
we have heard about it. All these Madhya Pradesh dacoits and so many type of things. But that doesn't automatically mean that system has. For instance, Gujarat. Whenever I say prohibition, immediately, oh sir, in Gujarat you can get any amount of liquor. That's
Ah,
not the issue. Issue is large number of middle class doesn't have access directly to a shop.
correct.
So quite a, I would say quite a number, good number, three-fourths at least, are not will not be drinking. I'm sure. If it is available on every road corner, there may be tempted to drink. Tamil Nadu, which had prohibition, relaxed it in 70s. Today, it is very difficult for it to reimpose. And today, almost all the youth of Tamil Nadu is got into drinking a bit.
Correct.
So this is something. So I would say the gun laws in India are really good. It's of course there are just because there is a violation, it doesn't automatically mean we should remove it or anything. That's not a correct way to deal with that. Couple of people cross the red light doesn't automatically mean that you remove all the signals.
True.
So our and by and large, I would say, you see, we have a country of 130 crores. You know that, right?
Correct.
You know how many Tanas are there in India?
No, Prof.
13,000.
Oh my God. Okay.
That's all. Per capita Tana is the least in the whole world.
Okay.
And there are some temporary Tanas, Bandabast, another thing. I am talking about regular Tanas. See, huge tracts of land in the rural India are not covered by cops at all. Somebody
Okay.
asked me how they manage. I told the Doparwala takes care of it. That's all.
Mm.
Right? Ramjani, as they call it. Right?
Right.
Ram Jane. So
So
we are, by and large, we are a obedient, God-fearing country.
okay.
With this level of, in California alone, there are more Tanas than in India.
Oh my God. Okay.
So not many people even know about this or talk about it and other things. We have under policed by the regular police, but society by and large is decent and reasonable. There could be a lot of reasons for it. One reason could be the idea of karma. People are not very, people are concerned about doing something wrong because they feel that it will hit them again back.
True.
There is a
Mm.
concept of getting it back. So all that is there. There is no point in ridiculing them or anything, right? So
True.
the gun culture in India is much, much bigger, much better, according to me. Of course, here people use the knife and the swords and other thing, but again we have to have a order of magnitude.
True.
130 crore people, the number of people getting into this is very, very minor or microscope, I would say.
True.
Right? And some of this is instigated due to political reasons again.
True.
So that's not a very big deal.
True. So introducing guns to Indian market won't create similar problems, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
We won't have similar issues.
Correct.
So there is some sort of personal accountability in our society.
Enormously, enormously. I tell you one thing, at least significant number of Indian youngsters would not have seen a gun or handled a gun.
True.
Other than on television or pictures where, they show shooting. Otherwise, they would not have gone. Even, I will tell you one thing. Very recently, last 10, 15 years only, I find on Diwali, people using, those mock pistols.
Correct.
Earlier, it was not there in the
Okay.
60s, 70s, and other thing. When I was a kid, it was not there at all.
Right.
So this is all just, again, influence of West, influence of movies and other things. That's all. Majority of Indian children would not have seen a gun, actual gun.
True.
I'm very sure about it.
True, sir. I can vouch for it. I haven't seen.
You might not have also seen, right? Actually, a lot. This is this is how we are brought up, and this is how, because we associated rifles and guns with the cops and army and other. They are expected to protect us. Our method is not the method of this Amendment 2, where every citizen have to wear arms and then no. We expect the state to protect us. Hopefully, they will continue to do that. Right?
Yeah. Okay, Professor. This was a wonderful discussion, and thank you again for your wonderful insights.
Thank you, Divya.